What's up, YouTube? On this episode of Coddiwomple Overland, we're going to be exploring the southwestern part of the beautiful state of Montana.
We don't need a destination, let's go where the river's taking us.
When we left you on the last episode, we had found a beautiful camp beside the Ruby River Reservoir. Well, this campsite was fairly close to the road. It was really quiet and beautiful. It was definitely a place we'd consider coming back to camp at another time. When we left, we made our way down to the spillway, checked that out, but while we were there, we also was looking at the map. We seen that there was a road that headed east across the mountains and put us through several old gold mines. It was also the shortest way to a few popular towns that we wanted to go check out. Now, by the map, this was going to be the shortest route, but we knew it wasn't going to be the smoothest. But that's exactly what we were looking for. So, road's a little bit rocky, so we're going to take a little bit of pressure out. The cool thing about the Oversands is I'm just going to put them on and let them start deflating, and we're going to keep driving. We continued our climb into the mountain as the Oversand tire deflators done their thing. As we made our way up this old road, we were hoping to see some remnants of mining. We had no idea what was in store for us. And these old cabins here on the right was just the beginning. By this point, we had seen several different structures, and we had made it to a point on the map that was only depicted by ruins on the Guy Overland layer. What we found was an unnamed mining camp area that time had seemed to have forgotten. Going back on historic topo maps through Gaia, I was able to find that this mine wasn't here in 1900, but it was in 1930, and it was the Marietta mine. The trail up to the Marietta mine wasn't bad at all, but from there, the trail did get rougher, a little bit tighter as well. Well, I would call it a medium trail. Degrees that way. Climbing the switchbacks near the top of the mountain, we got a really good view of the Alder Gulch. It was truly beautiful. What do you got?
I've got a tree branch.
Where did that come from?
From this dog. Jeez.
Now, I know a lot of you have seen Aspen hanging out the window, but what you probably don't know is he loves to grab limbs like this one right here and bring them in. Brings a little bit of nature inside the vehicle with him. Cresting over the mountain meant that we were going to be making our way down into one of the more famous gulches in this area, and this was Alder Gulch. You may or may not recognize the name Alder Gulch, but Alder Gulch is the location of the largest surface find of gold anywhere in the Rocky Mountains. In early 1963, several prospectors had been out looking for gold and was on their way back to Bannock. They'd stopped along this small unnamed stream and decided to set up camp. After camp was set up, they wandered down the stream to try to find a little bit of gold dust so they could buy some tobacco when they got back to Bannock. What they ultimately would find was the largest surface area of gold anywhere in the Rocky Mountains. Of course, they tried to keep this a secret, but that didn't work. Within the first 3 years, the Gulch produced $30 million of gold. Just downstream from where this gold was found is where the towns Nevada City and Virginia City popped up. This stream or gulch ended up yielding a little over $120 million worth of gold in that time period, and it produced quite the bustle of people. At one time, there was over 10,000 people that lived along the stream. That's one of the coolest things about getting out here and just exploring. When we got up this morning, we had no idea we was going to be in such a historic place. I was just simply looking for a shortcut to make our way through the mountains to get to Nevada City and Virginia City. But what this shortcut turned into was one of the most historic and adventurous days that we had had on this whole trip. We really felt like we had found some part of history that not just everybody gets to see. There's nothing like rolling into Nevada City and seeing an original style stagecoach pass you by. Nevada City, Montana was found just below where they had discovered gold in Alder Gulch. It was established in 1863, right along with the discovery of the gold. By late 1863, there was as many as 2,000 residents in this small town. By 1880, there were only about 50 residents left. In the 1950s, Charles Bouvet, a former state senator, decided to buy up land and other properties in Nevada City. He moved several old structures in and recreated the ghost town. Today, it's ran by the state of Montana and is a tourist attraction. 14 of the structures that are here are original to Nevada City. The other ones, which is almost 100 structures, are from various places around the area which were moved in.
People here. That's the end of Virginia.
No, this was Nevada City. This was the one that that guy was working metal. shackles. After leaving the museum, we drove by one of the old dredges that actually destroyed most of this town in the early 1900s. Just a mile or so up the road is Nevada City's sister city, and that's Virginia City. Virginia City also sprang up in 1863, but by 1865 it had grown to over 10,000 people and became the capital for the Montana Territory. By 1868, this city had over 1,200 buildings, and over 200 of them still remain today. Take the blacktop and the vehicles away, and you could imagine this looking a whole lot like it did back in that time. Well, Virginia City doesn't have the population that it did once before. As of now, it only has about 150 year-round residents, but it sees almost 500,000 visitors annually now. Before leaving town, we had to stop and top off with some good old Fire Chief gasoline. As soon as we left town, we made our way back on the dirt and across the Oxalottal wilderness. By the time the day drew to a close, we didn't have a whole lot of options for camping, so we ended up at a BLM campsite along the river. So when it's too windy to cook outside, you had a late lunch. It's time to snack. Deb's grabbed a salami sandwich and I've grabbed the trusty Crunch Berries. The next morning we were up and moving pretty early. We weren't the only ones up and moving around that early. The prairie dogs were out and moving around everywhere. The plan for the day was to get back up into the mountains and head south along Gravely Ridge. Gravely Ridge Road runs for about 30 miles, and according to Trails Off-road, it is one stunning view after stunning view. We couldn't wait to get up on top. The only problem was, looked like we were going to be pretty clouded in, so we were hoping that that was going to be clearing up. It wasn't long of making elevation before we got out of the wide open expansive areas and into the pine trees again. All the while as we were climbing, we were getting closer and closer to the bottom of the clouds. It never ceases to amaze us the strange things that we see while we're out traveling, and some things you just gotta stop and get a closer look at. By the time we had hit about 7,800 feet of elevation, we had made it to the base of the clouds. So one of the disadvantages to shooting pretty much everything on your phone is it fills up. Well, since the phone's full, we decided to download some of them onto the computer and make a little bit of tea.
What's happening there?
So there's been a chance of thunderstorms. Said we're going to hit about 3 o'clock. They didn't miss it by much. It's 20 minutes till 3 now. And we're close to it. We're watching it though. Hopefully we stay just barely north of it. We'll see. It did have some hail in it a minute ago, but it's kind of settled down now. By the time that we had made it to the top of the mountain where we were going to turn left and go south onto Gravely Ridge, we were firmly in the clouds, and we also had weather moving in. We made the decision to go ahead and cross the mountain and get down off of the other side and make our way down the canyon that way instead of being up on the ridge. It was pretty obvious we weren't going to see those epic views with the clouds the way they were. Clearing up before our eyes.
Wow.
As we headed off the west side of the mountain, we could see that the clouds were trying to clear up. The view was going to get better, and hopefully the weather in general was going to get better for the rest of the day for us. By the time we had made it to the southern end of the Centennial Divide, we were really glad that the rain hadn't caught us. We would have been in a really muddy mess. From the divide, we made our way into the Centennial Valley. This is a beautiful, expansive valley, and we headed east from there towards West Yellowstone. By the time we'd made it to West Yellowstone, it had been another long day, so we stopped at a local watering hole and got some buffalo balls. The next morning, we made it into Yellowstone, but you'll have to wait till the next episode to see what we got into there. Until next time, see ya. Guess when it's your house, you can do whatever you want to do.